Your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Oh, eh, la, la, la. Oh, eh, la, la, la. Oh, eh, la, la, la. Woke up your body, craving your body. When I left you on the island, you said you wait for me. All of me light up when I think about your love and charm. I knew someday I would return to see your lovely face. Boy, I long to feel your warm embrace, yeah. To feel you in my arms again, my lovely island girl. I long for my island girl. Sweet island life, you and me.
Good morning this morning, and welcome back to Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, your station for fresh news, smart talk all day. That song is called My Island Girl by Tarai. And I think this first time I found this artist, Bahamian artist, I think it's Tarai Roll. Search him, Tarai, My Island Girl. I love this song because the crooners are back. The balladeers are back. The boy them to sing to us are back. Gentlemen, the ladies, they singing to you too. The generation of ballads, the era of ballads has returned. And I love it from Shine to Tarai. These guys and girls are crooning all over the place. Now, I chose that song this morning because I was trying to impress my guests. My guest is the, owner of the well-known and renowned production company, Alpha Sounds. If you grow up in the Bahamas, you grow up with Alpha Sounds. Alpha Sounds is partnering now with Keep the Vibe Alive Music Group, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're keeping the vibe alive, and Tarai is one of their featured artists at the Keep the Vibe Alive Music Group. I wanted to play that song today because we're going to be talking about a series of events. We're going to have a little conversation about music festivals centered in a critique of the most recent Best of the Best Rake and Scrape explosion. I was fortunate enough to be able to attend, and it's my pleasure to sort of analyze the event so we could talk about what's going to happen at the next Best of the Best music explosion. Now, I say music because I don't want to peg it at Rake and Scrape. I don't know what it's going to be. I just know it's going to be Bahamian, and it could be an explosion. So we're talking sort of ideas. We're looking at that last event and answering some of the questions that I know that people have asked, like why the ticket was $80. And you know, that's the first question I asked. But after going to the event, I understood why the ticket was $80. And I only been there for half the event. My little feet says, almost midnight, ma'am, we need to go home before you turn into a big Andres pumpkin. But it was a wonderful time had by all. So we're going to be talking with Mr. Trevor Davis, proprietor, owner. I'm founder of Alpha Sounds. We're interspersed with maybe a little bit of music because I want to show him some of the talent and fusion of sounds that exists in the country. And then we're talking about the Valley Boys. I've been seeing some things on social media platforms, and I'm not informed. I can say this right now. I'm not informed. I've asked Mr. Trevor Davis here to clarify some things I've seen, but I tell you what, it's a matter of national importance because the last time the Valley Boys said they was picking up their drums and they wasn't playing with us anymore, when they didn't go to Bay, we had a global pandemic. So Valley Boy business is our business. And I say that lovingly. I say that with love and respect and empathy. Not forcing myself into Valley Boys business, but centering the Valley Boys and Junkanoo with the understanding of how vital a role Junkanoo plays in the life of Bahamians and how vital the Valley Boy organization has been to the growth and development and enjoyment of Junkanoo. I'm a member of the Spirit, the greatest scrap group in the history of Junkanoo white people in the whole world, except for the pigs and the Methuselahs. But I still show the Valley the respect that is due. My mother's a Saxons. And like Father Walking, who tell me you're born Anglican, you can die Anglican, she tell me you're born a Saxon, you can die a Saxon. Even if you put on your daddy shoes from Russian with the pigs. And even with that in my heart, I show deference and respect to the organization that is the Valley Boys. So we can talk a bit about what some people may have been seeing on air, on the social medias. But before we get there, sir, tell us what exactly is Alpha Sound? Because y'all like a magic machine. Y'all is just bring magic to the country.
Good morning. Good morning to all your listeners. Good morning, Bahamas. Thanks for having me on your show, Erin. It's a pleasure. I listen to you for years, every opportunity I get. It wasn't every day, because every day I wouldn't be in my vehicle or have an opportunity to. But anytime I have an opportunity, I must say I listen to you, and I'm inspired by your charisma and your passion for Bahamians and your passion for Bahamian music and the culture. And even when there's a pothole in the road, you make people feel like, listen, this pothole is the last pothole you will ever want to see again. And so even stuff like that, it hits to the core of a Bahamian, because that's something should have been fixed long time, because at the end of the day, all us will benefit if that road is fixed. Yeah, so absolutely. I must say that is something that I love to hear when you articulate. But what is Alpha Sound? Alpha Sounds, started some 30 years ago. I always loved music. I was brought into music. I think my first fond memory of listening to music was, believe it or not, Naughty Johnny. And as a little boy, you keep hearing about Naughty Johnny because he was a bad little boy, and so that got me into music. And then later on, I learned about Ronnie Butler and Ronnie Butler, Bullfrog, and Burma Road. And as I grew older into a young man, I started to learn about Bob Marley. And when Bob Marley music hit you, it had such a powerful message for the world and what was happening in the world. And as a young man, I gravitated to that. And then I went diving back into the Bahamian music. And when you dive back into the music, and then you start hearing KB talk about Just 'Cause She Fat, I say, wow, Just 'Cause She Fat, this is really a good song. And so I always had a love for music. And I think my love for music grew as I grew older, and I, tempted to be a DJ at one time, and I just wanted to make people happy. And I look at the smiles on a person's face as you DJ, and they enjoy themselves, and it just keep growing and growing. And then it came a time when I said, it's about evolving. Do you still want to be a DJ? No, maybe I want to be a DJ and probably own my own business. And then Alpha Sound Record Store came about. And I think it was a pivotal point in the country, because at that point when Alpha Sound Record Store opened, something was missing. And what was missing is the fact that we was only getting one set of music locally. And I just there to the fact that persons who was selling music locally was just getting it from one supplier. And I used that opportunity to reach out to other suppliers and use my network around the world, and I was able to bring in a vast variety of music that was missing for the local DJs. And of course, that caused me to excel in the store, to do very good in a short space of time. And then I said, there's something else missing in my country. Not enough entertainment. Then in 1999, December 4th, I ventured and I said, you know what, let me bring this band to the Bahamas to entertain us. And the band was Square One. And Obi Pinlin, my good friend, my confidant, I said, if I do this, Obi, you're going to have to be there to help me on stage and walk me through it. And he's like, not a problem. And so persons who would have been coming to the Alpha Sound events in the ballroom know for sure that don't care what artists I brought in or who had the hot sound at that time, who people wanted to see, you sure Visage was going to be on stage, or it was going to be a KB or a Lady D or a Dyson. And so at that time, every young artist had an opportunity to shine, because I would make sure that there was no event without Visage Band playing or one of the new upcoming artists on stage. And shortly after that, ESC came on board, Last Time Quest, and Behemoth Music started to ramp it then, because he said, you know what, let me do my part. And Les' part in this puzzle was to make sure that we have the best music from the best artists at that time. And so he decided to come up with a compilation called Best of the Best, Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, Volume 4, Volume 5. And shortly after that, he started the Best of the Best concert. And so you had your fusion of Bohemian concert with soca, and then you had your Best of the Best concert. So what we're doing today is nothing new. We've been doing it for the last 20 years. He and I both took a break from the scene, and when he came to me a few weeks ago and said, Trevor, I think it's a lull in Bohemian music. We need to do something to get it back up. We have a lot of great young talent, and not being able to.
Right. I mean, say the talent is there. Right. But the vehicle to continually showcase the talent to both the local population and the tourists that arrive on the shores is what was needed.
Yes, and it's still needed. It's still needed. That was missing for several years. And so again, when he and I decided, when he came to me and said, look, let's get together, let's make this happen, it was like he told persons, was in less than an hour we came to a conclusion, but I think it was less than 20 minutes, because he and I were both thinking the same thing. We both needed that, we both knew that there was something missing. So it was a no-brainer for us to get together to put the event that you spoke about earlier on.
Now, I referenced the Best of the Best rake and scrape explosion that happened 2 weekends ago.
Yes.
Right. I can feel the tingling in my feet still. It's a good timer. How many artists did you all have performing at that event? About 15?
It's about 15. We had two bands.
The Falcons,
the Falcon bands.
And Shad Cawley and the VIPs.
Yes, Shad Cawley and the VIPs. They are the future, I must say. But I think the first half was about 7, 8 artists, and the last half, So we had about 15 artists in total.
Roughly, what's the payout for all the artists? Just that part alone?
Well, that part alone, I leave that to Les.
Okay.
And so this what is so great about he and I working together. He deals with all the artists and the entertainers, and I deal with the production. I deal with the setup. And so you see the setup, you see the stage, organized and everything else. That's the part I played.
Now, when I saw the price, the Acklands and me did a backflip, right? But when I experienced the model, right? Because I figure we have, and I say this as a critique and not as a degradation of anybody's performance or the quality of their work, but I imagine we have about 4 or 5 artists who could do a standalone 2-hour or 3-hour concert with them as the premier and primary performer. KB,
Gino D,
Eddie Minnis, Ronnie's Pass,
yeah.
Phil Stubbs, right?
D-Mac.
You think D-Mac could do 2 hours straight?
Yes, he could.
Yeah, well, not performance. I know he could jump up and down and entertain me for 2 hours. I know that.
Yeah.
And I heard back that Bam Bam, which is a rake and scrape and producer. Oh, there we go. We back. Rake and scrape and soca, Caribbean blend of sound. I know the boy was talented. Okay, but so we can put him on the list. Right, but the model of the Best of the Best is you get 16 artists performing, and you get a lot of younger artists that may have 1 or 2 hits that are worth seeing. You want to see them perform it live, but they may not be able to carry a 2-hour, 3-hour a concert by themselves. This model, I think, is excellent.
Yes, so the model came about because. And it's like any other model. And persons who often came to you ask me, well, how Alpha Sounds get here and what we do to get here. persons who would have come to my show, yes, you might have came to see Marshall Montano at that time or a Destra at that time, but guess what? You're going to see a Dyson, and then I didn't know Dyson saying that. Oh, look at Dyson, why not? Then you see a Wendy. Oh, she did good. Now, we know that you wanted to see who you wanted to see, but guess what? You're going to have to see these small artists as they climb their way up the ladder. And so it's the same thing. So you put them all together where you know they coming to see KB, but guess what? Before you see KB, you're going to have an opportunity to see the new and upcoming artists.
And if you're lucky and you went to the Break and Scrape Explosion, you would have seen Pat Ramming and Elon Moxie perform live, which is a gift in and of itself.
It's always good to have you on here, right? And I remember the last time, my mic is kind of off, by the way. I remember the last time I spoke to you. I think you called in, or I was interviewing you on air. But you called in and I was critiquing you. And of course you set the record straight, put me in my place. And I smiled and said, okay, at least I know, right? Because I was critiquing you in terms of your production. And where is the Bahamian talent in the production, and how much should they be paid and stuff like that. And then go into detail, and he was very frank with me and explained the whole process. I grew up with Alpha Sounds on East Street. It was a past there. I couldn't buy no records, but I could have passed the store and listen to the music whilst they play, right? And I grew up in the 90s where they had best of the best cassette tapes.
Yes.
And of course, bootlegging came in place where people download and record people's music. Is there a place now for a Bahamian to say, I need a best of the best, the top CD, the top record, the top... They don't do cassette tapes no more.
No.
Yeah, the album that I can say, I play at my party without bootlegging it.
See, again, we're talking about evolution. And since you would have passed... Because I even remember when I first opened the record store, I was selling records that the DJs couldn't find for years. I was able to do it. And shortly after, the transition came into CDs. And so the records started to fade out. The CDs started to come in. And shortly after the CDs faded out, the jump drives come in. And so to your answer to your question, yes, they're still available online. A lot of the Bahamian artists now putting their music on Spotify and different platforms where you can go and you can download it and you pay for a fee. Or yes, you could still go to ESC distributors. Les still have copies of all the CDs. As a matter of fact, Les still distributes the Bahamian CDs abroad internationally, and that's something that he has been doing for years.
I'm going to say one of the largest audiences is the diasporic audience. They are hungry for any. So you talk about a record or the value of a best to the best. That's it right there.
Yes.
And they have it and they play it and they share it in the communities that they're now living in.
Yes. And so for me, something that I've always wanted back in the Alpha Sound days, we talk about the record store. I always wanted to see our local DJs on the international stage. I was very passionate about it. I got a lot of flack because of it. And today, I still feel that we had several recording artists that would have made it on the international platform. And for whatever reason, they missed the window of opportunity. And it bothers me every time because I still see them around, I still see them perform, and I go back and I remember the song that they were singing that was so popular, that would have made them so much of, I want to say money, but of course we need money to take care of our families.
No, you go.
Okay, so you still have that, but again, what is for you in life, I feel that it is for you, but I strong-heartedly feel that at least 4 to 5 of our local artists would have been on the international stage, doing the Caribbean tours, doing the United States tours, doing the European tours, and now Caribbean artists, we find them touring Africa.
During the advent of Jungle Carnival, I put the word Jungle Carnival because that's a time period, because it's no longer Jungle Carnival, right? There was a proliferation of Bahamian music being produced.
Yes.
Of course, there's all kind of criticism. Oh, that's not good, but there's that proliferation has stopped, right? Every so often we have one artist produce a song. You say, oh, that's great,
Yes.
right? And you have another artist in another year or some months. You say, that's great. But during Drunken Carnival, we had 26, 30 songs within that small time period. And great quality songs, right? We had like 10 great songs we sure could have gone around the world and do wonders. Were we too harsh on Drunken Carnival and the importance of it to Bahamian music?
Yes, we were really too harsh on Carnival, and you could see it was just demonstrated and played out a month ago. Look at Jamaica Carnival. Look at the headline from Jamaica Carnival. Now, we all know Jamaica is the home of reggae music, dancehall, and something else, but they embrace Carnival. They profit $52 million. They put it in the Star of Carnival. Now, we was ahead of them. Jamaica had Carnival before us, but it was something up in the hills and something that's where the elites go. And when we started our Carnival, they came 2 years after us. Now Jamaica Carnival is up to $50+ million in a week. Can you imagine what that did to Kingston economy? And so, back to your question, we were too hard on Carnival. I don't think that the delivery, as hard as my good friend Roscoe tried to present it and deliver it, I think something was missing. And what is missing is what is missing from a lot of things in this country.
The drum beat? Because we can get to that. I feel like a lot of music is missing the heartbeat, which is the drum beat, which is the drum and bass.
Yeah, but what is missing from our country is the fact that we don't support, we don't galvanize together. We feel it's easier to pull down than to pull up, which it is easier to pull down than to pull up. And so if we had looked at Carnival from a business point of view, we would have seen the heads in bed by now. We would have seen Jamaica did $52 million. I'm guaranteed we would have been up to about $80 million. Now you got to ask me, how is that possible? Why? It's cheaper to fly to the Bahamas. Everybody wants to come to the Bahamas. You're not giving them a reason to come to the Bahamas. I can't say Trevor Davis Carnival. The Carnival doesn't say Trevor Davis Carnival, Alpha Sounds Carnival, or my partners and I, Palantra Carnival. It says Bahamas Carnival. Bahamas Carnival. What does that mean? We need the Bahamas to endorse it. And once the Bahamas endorse Carnival, every Airbnb, every rental car, every shackle to fish fry, every barn will have hundreds and hundreds of costumes. Who's making the costumes? Locals. So that's where the revenue is.
You think that we should have been more vested? When I say we, the general Bahamian to say, hey, I'm going to buy into this. And if it's foreign, because people criticize it that Carnival is a foreign concept, we could have Bahamianized it. Because they had Rake and Scrape during Carnival, when it first started. They had the goat skin drum, and all the bands were hired on different spots. Everybody was hired during that week.
Yes.
That never happened again, where every band was employed.
Because
at one point in time,
we take everything in the country and turn it into something political, for whatever reason. We don't look at the spin-off, and hence it's the reason why every major city around the world, every country is embracing the Carnival, because they're looking for the economic spin that comes from it. And that's what's important. You have to find other ways to stimulate your economy.
And when your culture is strong, you're not afraid of inviting other cultural expressions into your country, because your culture is strong. It's your antidote to any foreign object that may infect you.
And I will add to that. You could imagine on a Friday night, everywhere Carnival around the world says Juve. You can imagine playing Juve in the Bahamas, but you're ringing a cowbell, or you're blowing a whistle, or a fellow would never pick up a goatskin drum before beating a drum.
Now, and let's take it into the future. You know, they have this new portal, right? They have a portal, I think, in England somewhere, and it goes through to another part of the world entirely. Imagine now, every Caribbean country have Juve at the same time, or as a group of us, and we have a portal, and people could look in through the portal and see our Juve while they're doing their own Juve at the same time. It becomes a part of a broader tour. In fact, it expands even the definition of tourism product.
Yes, and so to that extent, I think our tourism product can be strengthened in a lot of other ways, and not just through the Sunshine and Sea. There's a lot of other opportunities that we are missing, and if we continue to miss the ball on these people persons go into Cayman, they go into Jamaica, and we see it happening. We still cannot be selling Sunshine and Sea in 2024. Dubai have Sunshine and Sea now.
In the middle of the desert.
In the middle of the desert. So we cannot be still selling that. We have to reach out, and we have to understand the importance of music. We have to understand the importance of culture. We have to understand that persons want to come to the Bahamas, but when they get here, what are they going to do?
Is there space for, this is my word, foreigners to sing Bahamian music? Just recently in the Grammys, Grammys or Emmys for music? Grammys, right? A British group won Best Reggae. Right, and of course Jamaicans say,
That's
hey,
all right. In the Grammys 2 years ago, the California group won Best Reggae album. And then remember, at the initial Junkanoo Carnival, Marshall Montano got on stage and told the whole world, from I hear this song, the Garland, that's what he sang, right? The Garland.
Yes.
I wanted to perform this song. And Marshall performed it and honored it, right? So you could do it, and you can sense immediately whether the artists selected has put themselves into the music and they are actually honoring it.
So let me go a little further with Marshall Montano. He and I have been very good friends from the year 2000. And I remember very, very clearly at the time I had a Montero Jeep, and he and I riding to the city of Nassau, and Raking and Scrape was on. Mama don't want no Raking and Scraping in here. He said, what this is? And he turned it up. And the persons who was in the ballroom back then, Marshall went on stage and sang that song. I played that over and over, and he had it, and he listened to it. And in the middle of his session, Mama don't want no Raking, and the Bahamians went wild. They went crazy because how come?
appreciation.
How come you come to my country and you singing this song? And so it was no doubt, there's no second guessing that when he returned from Carnival and he saw the numbers and he's in the Bahamas and he said, what is the number one song? Because remember now, he sang both of them, you know. You remember, he sang Rake and Scraping because that's the sound that stick with him from 2007. And then he went into Garland.
Yeah.
And every soca artist sensed that comes to the Bahamas, one thing they do, they would listen to the Bahamian songs, what is popular, what is catching, because I'm in a foreign country and I want these people to know that I know their music. So they will go on stage and they will perform whatever they know is popular at the time.
Producer, play one of the two I just sent you via WhatsApp. So let's go back to the Rake and Scrape explosion. I was mad because I get there early-ish, you know, as a Bahamian still.
Yeah.
And it took a little while for the music acts to start. But that only fueled me to start thinking, right? This is a Bahamian. Her name is Vividly Val. She's R&B. I don't want to call it pop, but you could hear the fusion of Bahamian sound in the music, right? Producer, play the next one by Johnny Cake. And so I thought, the first idea that came to me is, man, this six to eight slot, we could fill this with, first idea, high school pop bands, R&B pop bands. We could even do a clash. I love to hear them, young people. I just say this would come to my head, right? Now, this is another Bahamian. Turn it up a little bit, producer. Thank you, producer. That's Johnny Cake. Did y'all know that Johnny Cake could rap?
Yes, I do.
Rap, R&B,
Yes.
ballads, hip-hop, Rake and Scrape. He's an actor. But this song, although the title is Florida, is Bahamian because it is a parody and not a making fun of, but tribute to the young lady and her viral moment when she say only broke people is go to Miami. I in Florida, I used to go to Florida, right? He turned it into a beautiful moment. All of these different sounds that still have the element of Bahamian in them. Is there space at a rake and scrape explosion, like a segment of the show, where we could highlight some of these fusioned Bahamian sounds?
Well, that's the evolution that I spoke about earlier.
Yeah.
Les and I, are going to find a way to bring all of this act and all this talent to the stage. And the premise is that if me and him take the lead on it, we'll get more people to embrace it. And so we committed to that. A lot of people, oh, you don't like Bahamian music. What is Bahamian music? So if a Bahamian singing another song, then that's not Bahamian music?
In fact, when Jay Mitchell did Islands in the Stream, he made the best version of that song is Jay Mitchell's version. The best version of Echoes of My Mind and the best version of By the Time I Get to Phoenix are the Bahamian versions.
Okay, let's talk about the T Connection. I mean, I've been in so much conversations where people trying to define what is Bahamian music. Bahamian music, we are Bahamians. Anything that comes out of Bahamian mouth, I consider Bahamian music. Mm-hmm. Now, it might be a different genre of music, but that don't stop you from being a Bahamian.
You mentioned genre. Who is responsible for defining the various genre of Bahamian music? Is it the producer or production artist like you to say, hey, this I'm going to call it
Tap and Scratch.
Tap and Scratch, or this I'm going to call it
Platty Dread. What Platty Dread genre is, man? It's a rock, reggae, rake and scrape kind of fusion.
Like anthems. Erin and I were speaking about anthems where Bahamians get up and dance and then chant the chorus. Right? There's not enough anthems where we all join in, right? But we don't know the different genres to say, well, these are all very eclectic Bahamians, but these are Bahamian music.
The producer, when you sit down in that recording studio with the producer and the writer, some producers are writers, some artists are writers, and sometimes be collaborations of the writers, producers, and the singers. So they decide what they're going to do. They decide what type of music they're going to go after. They decide what type of audience they're going to go after. So it is the producer.
Absolutely. Now, I'm asking the producer to play a song to take us to the break. And after the break, we're going to get into some Bay Street cowbell junkanoo talk. But when are we going to see the documentary on Alpha Sounds? Because on my notes, I forgot about the record store.
Yeah. I live on Taylor Street, so the record store is right there.
Right. When are we going to see the documentary? Because Alpha Sounds has been integral in the development of multiple generations of Bahamians. I remember sitting on the side of the road in my neighborhood. We all couldn't afford to go to no club, but we buy a couple bottles and turn on the radio or put in the mixtape Alpha Sounds, right? Yeah. And just have a good time. We got to get a documentary about this.
Or even hear the word Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
Scooby-Doo, the DJ to listen to. Baker Boys, that's an era where Bahamians feels, I know that.
Yeah, I know that. I come from that.
Now this is NXTETG and Giovanni. Hey, you could hear, in fact, when Sketch them put the junkanoo beat in that love song, I think it's my candidate. When they put the junkanoo, I was head over heels in love with that. This one right here, though, is the sweetest infusion of junkanoo in a non-junkanoo song I've heard in a long time. And when we go into a break, when we come back from the break, the Valley Who, we'll be right back.
Be back on Bay.
And be happy. Mm-hmm. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Guardian Radio 96.9 FM.
The road with it. If you being honest, they know. We coming like it's Boxing Day. Ain't with it, go your way.
Love the show? Want to give your support? Become a sponsor today. Call 302-2300 for our rates and packages. That's 302-2300. Become a sponsor on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
For fast fast, reliable, and impactful printing services, look no further. Let Printmasters bring your masterpiece to life. We stand by our quality products that is second to none. Our affordable pricing and friendly, efficient staff makes Printmasters the ultimate choice for all your printing needs. We can deliver any type of printing services, from banners to booklets to business cards. You name it, we can print it.
Let Printmasters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
The Grand Bahama News is available every Tuesday in the Nassau Guardian. You can buy your local paper at Freeport Convenience Stores, Western Bakery, De Gregory's Fine Foods, and Bellevue Gifts. Now is the time to reach your Grand Bahama market with affordable packages, including print and digital. Call GB News sales representative Kavandre at 822-6717 or message him on WhatsApp for ad rates. Classified ads are now available every Tuesday as well. Keep up with everything Grand Bahamian every Tuesday in the Nassau Guardian.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Some women know their boyfriend got one or two sweetheart, but she ain't freaking out because she got a white man. Some women know their husband got one or two sweetheart, but she ain't freaking out because she got a white man.
Okay, first thing 9 a.m. The white boyfriend got a checklist, wait for you to come sign in, then ask if you had breakfast. She probably gon' say no, even though her man cook a sausages, bacon, egg, and grits. White man made her forgot this. Lunchtime he gon' slide up, crack some joke inside her office. Compliment about her bongi, say that look like the softness. Now it's 4 minutes to 5. He say, come, miss, let me hug this.
That's a new track by Johnny K called Wig Boyfriend. Wig Boyfriend. He said that he got a checklist. He got asked if you had breakfast. That's a sweet, sweet song. So much talent out there. We can put that aside now. Let's talk about and I want to make this point, extremely talented Valley boys. See, I need good competitors to go up against. The Spirit, we don't want no slackers to challenge us. We want to go up against the best. And Valley boys, them, you all are some of the best.
Yes, we are. We are the best.
Absolutely.
We are the best. We were taught by the best. When you come up to the ranks of the Gus Cooper and his disciplinary and his passion and his love for John Canoe, and when you add Peter Gold to that, the one who would have took me in the shack some 40 plus years ago, you were in a zone. You were in a zone, and all your note was to be competitive. At that time, it was just the Valley Boys, the Saxon, and Vikings, and music makers. And as a young boy, I had one mission and one goal that was instilled in us. Let's beat the Saxons. Because once we beat the Saxons, we win the parade. And I was so fortunate to be part of that era when we brought so much to Bay Street. Just think about the 5 straight wins, all the music wins, all the best costume wins, all the great ideas that come out of the builders and the shack. It was just so amazing. So for me, I'm just so proud to be affiliated with such a great organization back.
Absolutely. Now, why it sound like we at risk of not seeing the Valley Boy perform again? Like I said, the last time you all didn't perform, a whole global pandemic unfolded.
The Valley Boys will be the Bay Street.
Okay, good stuff.
The Valley Boys will be the Bay Street. The Valley Boys is at a crossroads, such as any other organization in the country, where we have to figure some things out internally. Unfortunately, a lot of the stuff ends up spilling on social media. We know what type of environment we're in now, where anybody can pick up anything and send it out and it becomes viral. But at the end of the day, we have to seek truth, and we have to speak truth to power. And so once you're about the truth and speaking truth to power, we will get over this and be on Bay Street.
Erin taking too long. The Valley Boys rowing. Yes. Every day I see on social media big row, and I want to know why the Valley Boys having this, what is called this fight, public fight.
Well, I use the words conflict and turmoil to be polite.
I hear they round over name. They saying people thief the name.
I saw a letter asking somebody to cease and desist from.
Don't talk about the Valley Boys no more, because you weren't part of it no more. You
I am Junkanoo.
Yes.
Valley is Junkanoo.
Yes, and all kind of cease and desist lawyer. They talk about lawyers and things, suing people in the Valley Boys.
And this is why I was concerned, right? Because, like I said earlier, that Junkanoo is vital to Bahamians and Valley Boys are vital to Junkanoo.
Well, let me just say this. It's not just the Valley Boys. Let me just put it out there. We have been made to understand that a lot of organizations in this country, whether it's Junkanoo or churches, other civic organizations, have been collecting taxpayers' money without proper accountability.
And what do you mean without proper accountability?
Well, in order to collect, tax, hard-working taxpayers' money that the government give you, you should be able to be accountable for it. And the only way you could be accountable for it if you incorporate it, if you have an NPO. What an NPO, what it does is it's allow you to be accountable. And we found out that not just the Valley Boys, but a lot of the Junkanoo group, if not all of them, are not incorporated.
Wow.
And don't have an NPO.
Wow.
What does that mean? That means now that the minister, I saw he's making great strides and great move because he asked one of the Junkanoo groups the other day to return the $30,000.
Right.
And that young man scrapped notes, he returned it.
He did, good.
Yes.
Good on you, Mr. Knowles. The prodigal sons returned the money.
Yes, they did, and rightfully so. And so I think we move into an era now where we asking persons to be accountable.
Yeah.
So I don't want to hold this to just the Valley Boys. I'm talking straight across the board. You're collecting the taxpayers' money, and I think it's time now that persons start to be accountable. And how do you become accountable?
You get registered to protect the name of the institution and to ensure that if any legal matters arise, all your T's are crossed and your I's are dotted.
And most importantly, you give your members the opportunity. And what is the opportunity? The opportunity to have one voice, one vote.
Right.
If you're not properly registered, you could run a RIF. You could go for years and years without elections. You could go for years and years without coming to your members and saying, being transparent with the accounts. And so now we at a crossroad where we saying not only the Valley Boys, all Junkanoo groups. Now I must say, and let me get this in here before Nuri go kick off again. I must applaud one family. They have a constitution in place, and in the 28 plus years, one family already ran through 8 different chairmen.
Yes, a good flow, succession planning, and so flow of energy and ideas.
And it is so now, it's no question why one family is the most winningest group in the last 10 years.
Because their membership are a vibrant and functioning part of the organization and its management. All I'm thinking about is how long will it take me to copyright Prodigal Sons' Junkanoo name and start my own little project with it. One of the most important things of getting these documents in order is so that you could protect the name of the group and thus protect the work that they have produced over the decades.
You mentioned name. My question now is, who owns the Valley Boy name? Apparently, there's the world famous Valley Boys, and there's a Valley Boys Junkanoo group, or Valley Boys.
See, that's what create all this myth and all this smoke. Nobody owns the world famous Valley Boys or the Valley Boys. Not one person. And Junkanoo was bigger than all of us, and for so much years, people believe that it belongs to one person or one family.
Again,
we, the grassroots that go to Bay Street, we own it. The members who make up the back line, the members who make up the front line, that's who own these Junkanoo groups. Let me finish.
Go ahead.
And so hence we are giving the group back to its members. And how do you do that? You put structure, you put accountability, you put transparency, and you allow one man, one vote. And so hence is the confusion, and that's why we have this big confusion. And you would say this one in the Saxon or this one in the Valley. No, we, the grassroots, the people that go on Bay Street, that put the blood, sweat, and tears, that allow your son to be in the shack till 11, 12 o'clock in the night. You who allow your husband to not come home for dinner because he is in the shack pacing. We own these jungle groups, not no one person, and I think that's where the misfortune that happened over so much years.
You say we own the Valley Boys, but to Saxon Superstars' name is copywritten. They pay royalties or make a payment to the owner of the name. Who owns the Valley Boy name?
The Valley Boy name is incorporated and owned by the members.
By the members?
Yes. So your question you want to ask if I'm the interim chairman? Yes, I am.
You won't put your name on that for the interim chairman?
Yes, I did.
So you own the name?
No, I don't own the name. Stop trying to mix this up now. But
he's the chairman of a board, and the board represents the members that own the name.
And during this way, a lot of confusion, and this is causing all the muck and the smoke in the organizations today.
So
what happened in the Saxon, I can't speak to because I don't know. Mm-hmm. But I know as far as the Valley Boys Jungle Group,
you don't collect no royalties.
We don't collect royalties for that. This is a group that is coming to Bay Street that is going to be have accountability, going to have structure and transparency. And that's what we believe in, because we have to see that Junkanoo is bigger than any one of us. We can't feel that Junkanoo is just belongs to a certain set of people or a certain set of family. Junkanoo is bigger than, and hence that's the reason why Junkanoo is not growing to where it's supposed to be its full potential. Go ahead, Erin.
Well, they say Cecil mentioned two names there: the Valley Boys
and the World
Famous. But do those two names exist as registered names?
I know the Valley Boys Jungle Group exists as a registered name. I can't speak to nothing else.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of another group? No other name like that? World Famous?
Or people using that language?
I've heard of it, but I know based on the JCNP laws, once you come with a new group, that means you're going to be category. So I don't know what else happening with that. I could only speak to what I know.
Let's talk about a cease and desist letter. Was there a need for a cease and desist letter?
Well, if Erin Greene own a name and someone out there is going around and posting and saying they have rights to use that name, I'm sure that's what Erin will do.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the former chairman, though.
So
first of all, you use the word former, but second of all, what rights does a chairman have, right? Like, our perceptions about leadership and the rights and obligations that come along with those titles. A chairman doesn't own anything. I mean, inherently, you chair a board, and a board has responsibility for. That doesn't mean you own. The language in and of itself should suggest to people.
You're kind of trying to pump me up. Somebody owned Valley Boy name.
Nobody owned the Valley Boys name. People were trying to own the Valley Boys and the Valley Boys name, but they didn't do the necessary thing, and so we secured for the members.
So, as the chairman, tell me where the Valley Boys stand. Are you an MPO? Are you what other organization?
Yes,
are you incorporated? Are you those words?
Yes, I can confirm that we are NPO, and we now have a constitution that we're going to stand by. I could confirm that we are now registered members of the Valley Boys. I could show you the registration card. I could confirm that we have meetings. I could confirm the minutes of the meetings. And I can also confirm that we're going to have our first major elections next year, and one man, one vote. These are things that are unheard of.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Okay, and I don't just want to make this about the Valley Boys. Let's not make this about the Valley Boys. We talking Junkanoo straight across the board. We talking any organization that receive money from the government ought to be accountable.
Absolutely.
Period. Now, if it was a loophole in the system and the people were able to work around it, fine. But we here now to say, let's clog up the loophole. Let's collect the taxpayers' money. Not collect the taxpayers. Let's be accountable for the taxpayers' money. Sorry.
Absolutely, and ensure that all of our organizations.
Yes. And with that now, what you see happening is a growth in Junkanoo, because we all know that Junkanoo has hit a wall.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I will tell you that, but the Junkanoo tell me I can't interpret the beat of the drum. What did they say? Only a real Junkanoo.
Only real Junkanoo.
See, and that's what is so wrong with us and what's so wrong with our culture. We, as humans, we as Bahamians are so selfish within ourselves. We feel that you didn't come to practice, you can't beat a drum. So where's the next drummer coming from? Some of them to teach him. We feel that if you come off the cruise ship or you fly to the Bahamas, you can't beat a drum, don't come in this line. And hence is the reason why Junkanoo has not taken off around the world. But we can enjoy other people's culture, but we're not allowing persons to enjoy our culture.
Is there space for the Valley Boys to have an A and B group? When I say an A and B group, one where people be more participatory, and then the major ones, if it's this our base street one, you don't come here unless you're prepared. But this is for tourists, this is for Bahamians who are not journeying.
And that's a good question, but that's a whole different conversation. And I think that's where Junkanoo should have gone years ago to keep it alive and vibrant and international. And we will have been receiving some monetary funds. So we talking about Carnival earlier. We could have set up a Junkanoo model such as Carnival. So you have two Junkanoos. You have your Junkanoo for your Saxons in the valley in the one family, and then you have a model where these same young persons are in the shack pacing you around now. Say, you know what, I'm here pacing, but I can make some money while I pace. And so Junkanoo needs to be expanded to more than just a few. And I think just a few have been sitting around the table for so long, and now here comes a change.
And so the fallout from this apparent conflict can be a beautiful one. It could be a teachable moment that perhaps at the organizational level, those cultural practices have been replicated throughout Junkanoo and have caused Junkanoo to become stagnated in the same way that the leadership models are stagnated within Junkanoo organizations.
You're absolutely right. For years, everybody, and I get a lot of flack, but I have broad shoulders, I could take it. For years, my father told me, go back to this, young man, you have to be able to take care of your family. That's what a man do. A man has to take care of his family. For honest day's work, for honest day's pay. But you could go beyond the honest day's work and the honest day's pay. You could take Junkanoo and make a living off Junkanoo. Look at everybody else culture we talk about. Let's make millionaires on some of these young, talented people. Nobody in the world could do Junkanoo like us.
And listen, I started my experience with my proper experience with Junkanoo, making scrap pieces for people who were coming into town so close to start time that they didn't have time to make their own pieces.
Yes, and so that's a market where we have some young men and ladies that we call them contracts, and they pay for other people. Yes, but I'm saying let's make it bigger.
Even bigger than that.
Let's make it even bigger.
Well, listen, we're all out of time. I'm not sure what Mr. Newey is doing. Maybe we could hold you over because I am still enthralled by the idea of the Alpha Sounds documentary, right? But we got to go. We are all out of time. I got to get you back in to continue this conversation. I didn't realize the first half was going to be as juicy as the second half of the show. And I'm all about plying you with young Bahamians making awesome music so that they can take part in this Wake and Scrape. Play the music, producer. This is Avi and Judah the Lion.
Yes.
Judah the Lion singing Wake and Scrape. Long time. Avi and Judah the Lion. Thank you for allowing me to experience Rake and Scrape in a different way through the Rake and Scrape explosion. And I look forward to the next Best of the Best event. And I got some more ideas for you.
Yes.
Absolutely. I'm sure the whole country does. Yes. Alpha Sound signing off. Now tune in. I can't even say that. Now tune in to Guardian Radio. When we were young, Alpha Sound signed off and then it was ZNS and go to bed. That's how old we are now.
Well, first of all, let me say thank you for having me, and it's a pleasure. I love talking about Bahamian music, Bahamian culture, and so whenever there's a need, I'm here.
Absolutely. Thank you. Bahamian cultural stakeholder, Mr. Trevor Davis from Alpha Sounds. You're on the clock with Erin Greene. Stay tuned. Guardian Radio AM with C.A. Newey is up next.
Girl, you know